Honorable Makubele Mashele.
Honorable members, the hopes and aspirations of the more than 50 million citizens of the country rest upon us as Parliament because we are the people's representatives. Our primary role as members of Parliament in the National Assembly and elected representatives of the people is to ensure that proper accountability and governance of all state organs occur. We do this work by, amongst others, scrutinizing and overseeing executive action. Parliament is one of the three arms that makes the state, and it is duty-bound and obliged by law to act and investigate the allegations of state capture, corruption of any state organ without fear or favor. We, the people's representative, pledged our allegiance to the Republic of South Africa, and we made a promise to uphold the Constitution by taking oath of office. This oath should be the base and foundation of the work that we carry out on behalf of the citizens who elect us as in office and positions of responsibility. The ANC takes the issue of state capture seriously and will not shy away from all challenges confronting our young democracy and its institutions. Over the past few months, the eyes of the nation have been fixed on Parliament, particularly the oversight work that many committees of the National Assembly, led by the ANC, have been conducting. The ad hoc committee of the SABC board is one case in point on Parliament's work tirelessly to ensure accountability and good governance. All forms of maladministration that were confronting the SABC were laid bare through the committee's inquiry for all to see. The recommendations have not gathered dust, but are in the process of being implemented. Today, those who had captured the SABC and thought that they would not be taken to task have seen the door, and some will follow. This is a clear indication that Parliament is holding the people accountable on their actions. Honorable members and South Africans, our Constitution provides clear guidelines that the National Assembly must provide for mechanism to ensure that all executive organs of state in the national sphere of government are accountable to it. And maintaining oversight on the executive authority and implementation of legislation as we do in this House. In the wisdom of those who drafted the Constitution, they use the word must. This word is significant because in law it implies that the National Assembly has no reason whatsoever to act otherwise. The National Assembly also has wide-ranging powers to ensure accountability. Section 56 of the Constitution empowers this House and its committees to summon any person to appear before it and give evidence or require any person and institution to report to it. Perhaps we must admit as members of this House that we have not been doing this to the fullest of our ability. Hence, when our committees began to entrench and do oversight in the recent years and the recent months, we've seen that some officials in state-owned enterprises have been exposed and their disdain towards the people's representative to this Parliament. As we mark the centenary of the birth of the icon of Oliver Reginald Tambo, we, the members of the ANC deployed to this Parliament, must draw inspiration and strength from his wisdom. Tambo implored all ANC cadres to, at no cost, should we ever allow the strategic initiatives to shift to the other side. Let us, therefore, root ourselves amongst the people, live their experiences, share their trials and tribulations jointly with them, find ways and means to advance our cause, both local and at national level. And in the past, our cadres should be the first to rally to the defense of the people and be the least to seek reward. The opening words of the Freedom Charter's preamble of the Constitution says, "We, the people of South Africa." have a profound meaning for each and every one of us in this house. Through our actions in this parliament, we must give effect to this principle that the people are governing. We must hold everybody accountable without fear and favor. Any form of corruption or state capture is a cancer that will destroy and rob our society, particularly the most vulnerable. It undermines the objectives of our government to build a prosperous nation that is envisaged in the National Development Plan. Parliament cannot sit idle while the policy objectives of our legitimate government that was elected by the millions of our people is being undermined, and the capacity of the state to deliver on its mandate is being destroyed right in front of our eyes. A recent study by the Transparency International has revealed a link between inequality and corruption in society. In countries where there is high levels of inequality, there is direct proportional high-level prevalence of corruption. Clearly, if we want to win the fight against corporate and state capture and related corruption activities, we must redouble our efforts to radically reduce inequalities by fighting against all forms of any capture that rears its ugly head. Some academics have called the state a contract state. Cynical people in the corporate sector have abused our policies aimed at achieving economic transformation by using government's procurement spend to favor black businesses, by doing corrupt activities, by rewarding contracts and tenders, by colluding with officials within government state departments. And our committees are reveling those things. Therefore, as the people's voice, we dare not fail our people in their quest to deliver on our constitutional duties. The allegations that certain families or companies have become too influential in the decisions of state-owned enterprises should be investigated and brought to account through legal and legitimate actions. The ANC is committed to radical economic transformation, which is to be achieved if we would be using procurement by government and SOEs. The corporate sector must be encouraged to increase its gross domestic fixed investment in order to accelerate inclusive growth and reduce inequalities. Development in an equal society cannot work without the allocation of beneficial rents. What matters is whether our rent managers system is corrupted by patronage networks or not. As we have seen in other countries, in Europe and elsewhere in Africa, once a system is corrupted, a process sets in that can lead to the following out of the state: endemic conflicts, economic collapses, while an elite entrenches itself. This cannot be allowed to manifest under our watch as members of Parliament. Parliament must be applauded for its proposed amendments before this House to the Auditor Generals to refer undesirable audit outcome to recover losses in certain instances against persons responsible for state resources or losses. This will give authority to the AG to act against fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Honorable members, we must agree that this motion that the DA has brought before the House is premature and seeks to undermine the very work that is before the committees on the allegations of state capture being tested and investigated. To this end, the Standing Committee on Public Accounts recently concluded engagements that were sought to build confidence in the capacity of the state not to disrupt payments of the much-needed grants to the most vulnerable of society through a state entity, the Post Bank. Capacity will be built through the Post Bank, and this is the committee of our Parliament, the SCOPA, that has made sure that we build this capacity. This is an indication that the notion that nothing is being done is wrong, because the DA bringing this motion, you want to present a situation where the ANC is not doing anything. These are clear indications that we are not sitting on our laurels, but are doing something against state capture. Honorable members, the ANC leads society, and we will continue to lead this society. We will not shy away from the fact that we have been given the mandate to lead the people of South Africa. And leading the people of South Africa, we would ensure that all corruptions, state capture, and corporate capture will be uprooted. The committees that are before this House that are investigating these allegations are testing the very same fact that you are crying foul about. Let us allow these committees to conclude their work and bring the reports before this House so that we take everybody that has been implicated to the relevant authorities to ensure that they account. Honorable members, as I close this Parliament, as I close this debate before this House, I want to close the debate before
Order, honorable members. Order. You asked us to make sure that everybody is heard. While you may interject, but I think we should not descend to a point that no one is heard when they make their point. Continue, honorable member.
The promise that we are making to South Africans today is that we will get to the bottom of state capture, corruption, and all the allegations. What we are emphasizing before this Parliament today is that we are one arm of the state, and we will not allow ourselves not to sit down and not do anything. The very same committees that are there, that are investigating and testing the allegations, because these are allegations, they need to be tested. And these committees are doing that. And we will ensure that everybody who is implicated and who has done anything wrong must be brought to book. Thank you.